Live from 6 News, the station on your side. This is The 7.
Good evening. I'm Don Hudson, and welcome to The 7. Let's get a look at the big 7 stories right now. And topping the list, a little more progress in the efforts to bounce back from the damage caused by the remnants of Hurricane Helene. TDOT just announcing in the last 20 minutes or so, a stretch of interstate is reopening. Now, the department spokesman, Mark Nagy, posting these photos to social media announcing that I-40 is open again across Cook County. The interstate is down to just one lane in each direction, though, for about 5 miles near the Tennessee-North Carolina state line. However, and this is pretty important to point out, this is really for local traffic only, and the reopening does not extend into North Carolina. Parts of I-40 have been closed since late September when flooding from Helene washed away sections of land along the interstate. All right, let's take a look at the TDOT SmartWay network map here, showing the area we're talking about. Again, this is part of I-40, only open to local traffic, not into North Carolina, and only one lane in each direction. That's just one part of the cleanup effort and the struggle to get things back to normalcy here in our area since Helene rolled through. Now, over the weekend, the Tennessee National Guardsmen, continued cutting up the down trees and brush that swept away, swept away and piled up by the storm and floodwaters. The National Guard is saying it will continue recovery efforts for as long as it takes.
We're here to help our neighbors. We're going to be here until they say enough, that we've done the job that they wanted us to do.
Meanwhile, tonight, the state saying that disaster unemployment assistance is available to Tennesseans who lost their job or had hours cut back at work because of Helene. Now, this includes Cook County, Greene, and Hamlin counties. We're told the benefits will cover September 29th all the way to April 5th if your unemployment continues to be directly impacted because of the storm. Now, you can apply for this disaster unemployment assistance online or by calling the number you see there on the screen, 877-813-0950. The deadline, by the way, to apply is December 2nd. All right, staying with the impact of Helene. A big sign of the storm from the debris washed downstream. A boating advisory has been extended on all of Douglas Lake due to the runoff from the remnants of Hurricane Helene. Now, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency has been telling us about the huge patch of washed away debris making it down to Douglas Lake. It's just immense there. As you see, earlier this month, wildlife agents put out a boating advisory for just the area around that debris and the device used to catch it. Now, TWRA says the debris field is now a square mile in size. Wildlife agents say the debris can be hazardous with the potential to even cause injury, maybe even death. State environmental regulators don't want people to touch the runoff water or the water because the water may be contaminated, especially the water from the Nolichucky, Pigeon Doe, and French Broad rivers. Now, that device we mentioned is referred to as a boom. It is stretched across Douglas Lake above Dandridge. It's going to stay there, we're told, until further notice to try to catch as much debris as possible. You know, after Helene hit, TVA started spilling at Fort Loudon Dam, working to get a lot of that water downstream. And now that the spilling has stopped, we're told crews are able to start some upgrades there. We're told crews have now started replacing 14 spillway gate hoists. Now, these are huge pieces that require a crane, so this isn't going to happen real quickly. TVA expects this work to last for about the next 7 months or so. Next on our big story list, an effort to prevent a convicted killer from getting paroled. Now, back in February of 1995, Carol and Lester Dotts were shot multiple times by intruders after returning to their home after going out to dinner. Scarborough was one of 3 people prosecutors say was inside the home. He entered a guilty plea back in 2006 to 2 counts of second-degree murder and has been serving a 66-year sentence with the possibility of parole. The Farragut couple's daughter, Jeannie Dotts Brykowski, wants Scarborough, though, to stay behind bars.
They were 2 of the most giving, loving, caring people. They were always involved in my life. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, our house was always the house my friends could come to. He keeps talking about he wants to be back with his family. Well, guess what? I would have loved to spend the last 30 years with my family.
Scarborough was denied parole during hearings back in 2015 and in 2001. We'll, of course, continue to follow this case. New information about the explosives found at a Knoxville recycling plant. Police now say it wasn't dynamite that was actually in that box, rather emulsion explosives, a commercial-grade explosive. And while we heard previously there was an estimate of about 200 sticks, police now say there were more than 500 pieces of those explosives and just shy of about 200 blasting caps. The discovery prompted an evacuation in the area surrounding CMC Recycling on Western Avenue, which lasted more than a day. Bomb techs spent hours and hours removing by hand the explosives from a large steel box. Site workers first raised alarms when they were trying to cut the box into pieces with a torch. At one point, the wood structure inside the box started smoldering. Police said this was not some sort of terrorism or some sort of arson, but we still don't know the exact source of the explosive material. All right, big traffic issues along I-75 because of repair work on the roadway takes our next spot on the list. This is all happening in Loudoun County, where for the next 2 weeks, TDOT will be working on repairing the I-75 bridge over the Tennessee River near mile marker 74 southbound. While TDOT says this is a relatively small repair, crew members will be working around the clock and drivers should expect delays.
Bridge repairs are having us close the right lane on I-75 South at mile marker 74. That's between the Sugar Limb exit, road exit at mile marker 76 and the Loudoun exit at mile marker 70. These lane closures, that right lane closure is in place 24/7 and it'll stay in place until next Saturday, November the 2nd.
All right, even if you're not driving during peak hours, TDOT wants travelers to be aware of their surroundings. Give yourself a lot of extra time before hitting the road if that is part of your trek. It was really slow going today, 10, 20 miles an hour for miles.